is just fantastic.
Captain's log, subdates 21-1206.7. What is it with teachers and the repeated taking advantage of children? How is my version of castration not enough of a deterrent? I'm starting to think that the criminal justice system, much like the vast majority of people, is remarkably stupid. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome inmate number 105 to the ISO cubes. His name is Aaron Gardner, and you will have noticed now. Where's the mugshot, Meg? There isn't one. In fact, I have several articles linked covering what he did, and not a single one has a mugshot, meaning we have no idea what this man looks like. And that's quite strange, because I did find some Aaron Gardners while searching Google, but I don't want to put the wrong one on blast, and I'm not that guy, so I'm not going to do it. So this is quite a strange one, especially considering the nature of the crime that he committed. So we're in a bit of a quandary really, aren't we? But we shall push on regardless and hopefully, make suitable headway with this particular inmate. It does mean though I can't put him in this cell, which I find incredibly frustrating. What do you want me to do, draw a stick man and just say, hey, you're Aaron Gardner now? Congratulations. That would be unfair to all stickmen around the world. One of my friends is a stickman. I can't risk it. I really can't. Now there is a growing trend within the halls of injustice when it comes to teachers and the crime they commit. At this point, it is beyond stereotype and is just a cliche. If you're a teacher and you've committed a crime, chances are the crime has been committed against your students. This is unacceptable. We can all agree on that, especially considering the power position that the teacher is in and what it is they have done to the student or students that has then gotten them into trouble, and rightly so. Aaron Gardner is a 32-year-old man that used to reside in Malvern, Worcestershire. And I know with the spelling you now see on the screen, you might think Worcestershire? No, it is Worcestershire. You're welcome. I know we are weird, and we're okay with it. Now, of course, when we do in fact find the correct Aaron Gardner, he will be sharing one of these cells with Jimmy Savile. So now you should know exactly what it is he did. One of the schools that he worked at was Hurstpierpoint College in West Sussex, which is where I was born. Lovely place. Bit of a shithole. That particular college charges £10,000 per term, so 30 grand a year for a student to attend that school. The cliche crime that Aaron Gardner committed happened 7 years ago, according to the Sussex police. This means that he was at the time 25, and though this does not make anything look any better for him, even if the student themselves was only 17 at the time, it's still a crime under UK law. So we should probably get into this. I earlier mentioned there is no mugshot. There is another issue with the sources I have cited. They will all be in the pinned comment down below. The main problem on top of the mugshot is there is very little information with regards to any of the articles that have covered this. Usually a lot of the crimes, journalists will go into the courtroom, report on everything, have pictures, drawn ones usually, but we would also end up with a mugshot. In this, all the articles I am going to link down below don't have too much to go on, but there are bits from each article that do seem to create a suitable timeline, well, upon his arrest 7 years later. So 7 years ago, Aaron Gardner had taken advantage of a vulnerable 17-year-old girl for his own gratification until she left the college. As there are 6 charges levied against him, you can rightly surmise this happened on more than one occasion. And things started to move forward 5 years later when, let's call her Jane Doe, then went to the police because she had found out he was still teaching but at a different school, which was outside of Sussex, hence Worcestershire, being where he is now, well, was residing. The Sussex police then conducted an investigation which got full cooperation from the college itself, which greatly aided in their investigation, something which the police themselves recognised in a statement after his trial. saying we had full cooperation from the college management throughout the investigation, and there is no evidence that any other students were at risk from Gardner, who had left the college some years ago and no longer works in teaching. Obviously, he's in one of these cubes. We just don't have a face. Eventually, Aaron Gardner was arrested. He was then charged with 6 counts of abusing his role of being in a position of trust to incite a girl under the age of 18 to engage in sexual activity. At a separate hearing, he admitted to the charges, which meant there was no version of this where he wouldn't be found guilty. So yes, he's guilty! Congratulations, Aaron Gardner. The judge at this particular hearing or trial sentenced him to 2 years in prison. He was also sentenced to sign on the sex offenders register for 10 years, along with being given a sexual harm prevention order for the same amount of time, along with being banned from working with children and his access to children being heavily restricted. Which makes this video remarkably short, so what I thought I would do is go through what a sexual harm prevention order is, and of course what the abuse of position of trust sentencing guidelines dictate, so we can ascertain whether or not a 2-year sentence is adequate. Based on the fact it's 6 charges, my mind says, no fam, we put you in for a lot longer. Even if she was 17 and the legal age in this country is 16, you are still her teacher, and she has been determined to be vulnerable. Therefore the sentence should be quite strict. And in before someone says, yes, but if it's a woman teacher and a male student, the woman gets nothing because she's always considered mentally unstable. You're right, which is why I've called it out every single time, and then given them my own version of a harsh sentence. So a sexual harm prevention order, previously known as a sexual offense prevention order, is a court order that can be requested by the police or the court when there is a specific concern about an individual. This court order will be requested to prevent a person from engaging in a particular activity. It is very common for a person who is convicted of online sexual offences to be subjected to a sexual harm prevention order. Examples of conditions set by the order include not being allowed to visit places where it is likely there will be many children, like a playground, no access to the internet without installed computer monitoring software, and no deletion of internet history, with the police being required to go to your home without giving you notice to ensure that you are complying with your conditions. Am I right to assume when he leaves prison this then comes into effect? Because if it has been running while he's in prison, we're losing valuable time. For sentencing guidelines of abuse of position of trust along with sexual activity with a child, it comes under Sexual Offences Act of 2003, sections 16 and 17, which came into effect in 2014. Triable either way, the maximum is 5 years in custody. The offence range goes from community order to 2 years custody. With this you have the determining the offence category. Well, we don't know which one of these 3 it is. Let's just say yes. You have culpability, with significant degrees of planning, offenders acting together, use of alcohol, drugs, grooming behaviour used against the victim, use of threats, images of victim recorded, targeting of particularly vulnerable children, that one seems applicable. And then you come down to starting points. Now he got 2 years in custody, which would mean surely he falls under category 1, section A. But, as is customary with someone who gets such a sentence, he will be out in 1 year. So it is also possible it's category 2, section B, high-level community order and 1 year's custody, because he'll only really serve 1 year anyway. Do I, as a judge, agree with these sentences? No, I never do, because I'm a dick, and when it comes to people in positions of trust, when it comes to children or those who are, let's say, in between, it's still unacceptable. The rules are there for a reason. It is grooming, therefore your 2 years just became 20, along with the castration thing we do here. Part of me had wondered if we were going to get to a stage where children would go to a classroom, but the teacher, just so we know they weren't touching anyone, would have to do it via Zoom from the staff room. Granted, they wouldn't be able to maintain any control, because children are children, but it was just an idea I had. I doubt it could ever really be implemented or work, but I would like to believe it would help, well, reduce this from happening significantly. Anyway, Can't put him in the cell, can't do anything else really, so I'd like to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below, and please consider helping the channel by driving that engagement up. Smash the like, leave a comment, share the video. I hope you'll have a fantastic day, and thank you all very much for listening.